I thought I'd better just check, because so much has been happening in the city of Joburg and in Nelson Mandela Bay, and possibly in Ekurhuleni, and possibly in Tshwane, in those councils over the last little while. We'll get the view of the Democratic Alliance in eThekwini in just a moment, because they have a very different view on whether the city of eThekwini should, in fact, borrow this 1.5 billion rand. 1.5 billion rand is a large loan, but the problem, of course, is that they've had huge issues with infrastructure in eThekwini as well. Let's speak now to the eThekwini caucus leader for the Democratic Alliance in eThekwini, Thabani Mthethwa. Councillor Mthethwa, good afternoon to you. You believe that the city of eThekwini should not borrow this 1.5 billion rand. Why not?
Good afternoon to you, Stephen, and to your viewers. Look, our position as the Democratic Alliance has always been that instead of burdening the ratepayers of eThekwini with unnecessary borrowing, the city should be able to collect the money that is owed to it by mainly the government departments and government parastatals. We are owed almost 20 billion as the city of eThekwini by these government entities. So for us not to borrow, we need to strongly and go out there to collect the money that is owed to us, so there will be no need for us to borrow from lending companies.
But where would the money come from? I mean, does eThekwini have 1.5 billion rand?
Look, the money is there. It's just that I don't think that there's a political will to collect what is owed to us, because, for years we've been owed by mainly government departments. That is what we should be collecting, make sure that we don't go out there to borrow. So the money is there. We just need to go out there vigorously to collect what is owed to us.
I mean, I think all councils around the country have had the problem of actually collecting what is owed to them. It's not that easy, Councillor Mthethwa.
I think it's also not that difficult. I think what happens is that as a domestic consumer, if you default for a month or two, you get your services cut. So that should happen with the government departments. So you can't treat ordinary people out there differently to how you treat your government department. As I said earlier, I think it's only a political will that does not exist for the city to be able to collect what is owed to eThekwini.
I'm resisting the urge to make a snide comment about cabinet ministers and deputy ministers at the moment, Councillor. I hope you'll forgive me. You would have seen the substation explosion in Klaarwater last night. What do you believe caused it? Do you buy what the city of eThekwini is saying, that it was to do in some ways with the weather?
Look, there hasn't much that has been given to us as councillors. What we were told is that they suspect that it might have been lightning. But obviously, we can only work with what we have. But all we know as a day in eThekwini is that our electricity infrastructure network has never been stable since the April floods, which is why we wrote to the city manager and the mayor to petition Eskom so that eThekwini is excluded from load shedding, because we knew that after April and May floods, our infrastructure was not ready to cope with the demand and also the impact of load shedding. We are still resuscitating that call to say eThekwini must be exempt from load shedding, because we know that our infrastructure is not ready to cope with the aftermath of load shedding.
I don't know how the rest of the country would see the idea of eThekwini still being exempt. I mean, I think people might feel that that's unfair after such a long period.
Look, when we made that call, we knew that eThekwini did not have much load to shed, because you would recall that many of the big industries had not reopened. So it was justified for eThekwini not to be excluded from load shedding, because we knew that there was not much consumption by eThekwini. So it was that angle that we wanted the city to use as a motivation. We still believe that it's still necessary, because even though in terms of legislation we are not declared currently as a disaster area, but I do think that eThekwini is still a disaster zone. So as a Democratic Alliance, we still believe that the city must petition Eskom to motivate for us to be excluded from that shedding.
Rebuilding infrastructure is a very difficult thing to do, and we've seen, the technological changes which suggest that, in fact, some of it may be easier to do. But it is difficult to do. It's expensive to do. All of this means that there needs to be a real effort in eThekwini to actually do it. Do you have any confidence that that is what is going to happen?
I don't. Just last month, we have monthly full council meetings. I don't think that the city is doing enough. In fact, I don't think the city prioritizes our expenditure to address the issue of infrastructure repairs. We had an item last month which suggested that the city must identify savings to the tune of 200 million just to top up the issue of EPWP. EPWP is not a municipal funded program. It is a national government funded program. So our position is that if you can identify savings, all those savings must go towards fixing infrastructure. eThekwini can do that. I just don't think that currently the city's priorities are at the right place. I think our priorities at the city are very skewed, which is why as a DA, we call on every savings that can identify to go through infrastructure repairs.
Councillor, thank you. Councillor Tabani Mtetra is the leader of the Democratic Alliance Caucus in the city of eThekwini.